Okay, so I had a minute to think about all the tanker companies. I'm going to do a recap of all the oil tankers and sort of rank them. I have some notes here. So let's take a look. My number one favorite overall long oil tanker company is TK, TNK, the tanker division of TK. And this is their chart, and they just have the most solid uptrend, and they've been reacting well throughout the crash. And it's just a big blue chip tanker company with the best balance sheet. And I think that's the most solid long during the crash and after. But I wanted to take a look at a couple of companies that are maybe the best speculative plays for sort of intermediate dead cat and bull trap moves during the rest of this crash. And I think those two are DHT and NAT. DHT is that just stands for DHT, and that's the super tanker company with the very large tankers. And they're just getting some big parabolic moves that look good, sort of inter crash. So we have about a month and a half left in this credit contraction cycle. So I like DHT, the very large tankers, for the up moves, and then also Nordic, and those are the cold water double hull tankers that are also doing big parabolic moves right now. And then the two companies that I think might get more interesting towards the end of the crash or as we reverse out of the crash is TNP, Sakos, which is the Greek oil tankers, because they didn't get so much oil at the beginning of this oil explosion, and now they're starting to get more oil. So I think they're going to pick up more later, and they could be good. They could be good through here too. But I like them at the end of the crash, and then STNG Scorpio, and Scorpio hasn't really rebounded through the crash yet, and I don't know why. And maybe that's a bad sign, but they are a big company. They have a lot of ships. They've invested a lot into new ships. They have modern technology ships, and they have a big amount of upside that they could gain. So I think as a longer term kind of speculative play at the end of this crash, that might be a really cool one. And that is my recap of all these tanker companies. And then I could mention Frontline again. Frontline is similar to TNK. They're a bigger company that would be just an okay general long, but they don't seem to be doing quite as good as TNK. And then I think that was all of them. Oh, SFL. Yeah, the shipping finance, that company. Um, SFL is no good. They are not really an oil tanker company. Only like 20% of their fleet is oil, and they have offshore and they have container carriers, and their stock chart was crashing like the USO, and then bouncing back better than the USO. But that's not the same kind of thing that we're looking for here. We want longs. These are companies that are good through the crash and afterwards, all these tanker companies, but not SFL. Doesn't count. And this is not financial advice. And this is Brian Lewis with MMT Investing, and things just changed. And I think that was it. Please hit the like button to help me out with the YouTube algorithm. And then I guess I could just look kind of at the timeline again and see what the crash might look like. So yeah, TNK turned over really hard too. That TNP, the Sakos one, is the only one that's fighting against this turnover. So that is kind of interesting. And so I'm expecting a down. I don't know how far, but pretty soon, like in a week or a week and a half, I think we'll get a dead cat. And then in 2 or 3 weeks, I see another bull trap coming. And it's about a month and a half out still to the end of this cycle. And that's when we switch into different economic conditions. And I think the tanker should still be good, but it completely switches the strategy to long tech and things like that that people are going to hate once we get down here. Like tech and industrials and energy, everything that's been horrible the whole way down is going to start being good again, and everyone's going to be scared of it. And these tankers will be good the whole time, and it might not be as good of a deal to get in down here. So I don't know. I mean, these guys could be really good for months. These guys could be just killing it for maybe 5 months and just shoot off. I definitely want some oil tanker companies, but I don't want them this week. I want to wait until we get to these up moves and get in on the ups. So that's my plan, not investment advice. And happy trading.